Harvest, Episode 1, Awakening, by Ru Briant. UK, present day. 1. Interior, hospital locker room, night. Over black. A slow, shaky breath in and then out. Dimly lit locker room, womb-like. Ash's point of view. In front of an open locker littered with empty energy drink cans and empty tablet packets. Pops a tablet onto her shaking hand. Slams the locker door shut. Smash cut to 2. Interior, hospital, resuscitation department, night. 2 red resus doors slam open. Bam! Fluorescent lights. In a male patient's point of view, gasping, wheeled in by 2 paramedics. Looking down at him, a doctor in scrubs, snapping on latex gloves. She's running on fumes, but there's an intensity that speaks of an inner steel. Dr. Ash Prosser, 30s.
What have we got?
She gestures to the cubicle off to one side. The paramedics wheel the patient in. 2 resus nurses work to get him moved across onto the hospital bed.
Clear heart attack on the ECG. He needs the cath lab, chest pain started.
Bam! The doors to resus slam open again. An older patient, Bernard, 80s, is wheeled in by 2 more paramedics. He's panicking and incoherent. Bernard's paramedic waves an ECG at Ash, bristling with urgency.
Needs PCI, doc. Should I take him around?
Ash stands between the 2 paramedics and holds up a hand.
There's only one space in the lab. One of them has to wait here.
She knows the decision is a death sentence for one of them. Time stretches. She points at the first patient, the younger man.
Go.
The team rush him out of resus and towards the cath lab. Bernard continues to flail on the trolley, gasping for air. Ash pushes him into the previous patient's cubicle. She lays a hand on his briefly, pityingly, then moves to his bedside and pulls out a blank form with large lettering at the top. Do not attempt resuscitation.
What's his name?
Bernard Radcliffe.
Ash starts to fill the form. She senses the paramedic's anger, looks at him wearily.
If it's his time to go, I'm going to let him go without cracking his ribs on the way out.
Her hand shakes as she signs off the form.
What's the fucking point of bringing him in?
He might have had better chance if you'd not taken 6 hours to get here.
The red alert phone rings. Ash looks around. No one's free to answer it. She strides towards it. Alarms start going off in one of the cubicles. A junior doctor pulls the curtain back, panicky. We catch a glimpse of the patient snoring, no airway.
I need some help in here.
A stressed nurse runs in.
Ash, there's a parent kicking off in the waiting room.
The phone, offensively loud, continues to ring.
Do you want me to get that phone?
The alarm in Bernard's cubicle starts going off. He's dying.
Dr. Prosser?
Bam! The angry parent bursts through the doors, followed by a healthcare assistant trying to keep her calm. The parent homes in on Ash.
Are you in charge? My child is sick. Why isn't anybody doing anything? I want to complain.
This is the moment Ash breaks.
I can't.
She bolts for the door as the staff and parent look on, shocked. 3. Interior, hospital, resuscitation corridor, continuous. Littered with patients on trolleys, it's bedlam. Ash strides through the melee, head down. She rounds the corner and pushes the door into 4. Interior, hospital, toilet, continuous. Ash slams the toilet door shut, pressing her back up against it. She's visibly shaken, chest heaving. She goes to the sink and splashes water on her face, and then looks at herself in the mirror, oozing self-hatred.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You useless piece of shit!
She slaps herself into a frenzy, her own form of self-harm, continuing to stare at herself, and then crumples to the floor, banging on the door.
Ash! Ash!
Ash puts her hands over her ears, curls into a ball. Fist in mouth, she screams silently until the tears flow. 5 titles. 5 years later. 6. Interior, hospital, A&D department, majors, day. A&D as we've never seen it before. Shiny floors and freshly painted walls. Neat cubicles, a number of them empty and ready for occupants. Quiet. A workstation, 12 computers in a square. Ash mingles with a group of doctors and nurses at the computers. They're writing notes, chatting, laughing, sipping hot drinks. Ash picks a set of patient notes up from the side. She strides through a door into 7. Interior, hospital, A&D department, waiting room, continuous. 2 patients sit amongst a sea of empty chairs. An LED sign above reception displays the wait time, 14 minutes. A large advert on one wall, an image of a smiling older man looking lovingly at his grandchildren. 75 and over? Leave them a legacy with the Ascendancy Programme. A slogan beneath. Life in your years, not years in your life.
Helen Wainwright.
The alert siren blares. Ash waves an apology. What?
I'm talking to the cat.
Oh,
Sorry.
Ash waves an apology at her patient and powers towards the resuscitation department. 8. Interior, hospital, resuscitation corridor. Continuous, an empty corridor. No trolleys queued. Ash greets her supervisor, Nigel Turley, 50s. Gruff, wrinkles hard won by years of emergency medicine work, coming the other way. He looks at her awkwardly.
What is it?
It's a query sepsis, 73-year-old female.
Ash nods, assuming she's leading, pushing ahead towards the resus doors. Behind her, Turley grimaces.
Ash, why don't you take a break now? I need to speak to you.
You're not going to do some work yourself, are you, boss?
She grins. He doesn't reciprocate.
I'll see you in about 15 minutes, all right?
He pushes into resus, leaving a puzzled Ash in his wake. 9. Interior, Turley's office, later. Turley, an apology behind a desk. Ash, distressed.
It's not personal. We just don't need as many doctors anymore. They're cutting staff across the whole region and...
He looks at Ash as if she's a grenade he's pulled the pin out of. The silence hangs.
We looked at everyone. There were multiple factors that were considered.
Was the breakdown one of them?
Of course not.
I'm the sole earner, Nige.
Turley looks at her apologetically.
You can work the rest of the shifts you have booked.
Shift's notice, with no jobs anywhere else.
I've looked up some alternative.
Fuck you.
Don't
She slams a fist into the wall and storms out.
punch the wall.
He slumps into his chair guiltily. 10. Interior, hospital, staff locker room, day. Like an expensive corporate wellness space. Empty until Ash slams in, knuckles bleeding. She goes to her locker and angrily yanks the contents out, filling up her rucksack. The TV's on in the background. Bryony Henshaw, 50s, the health secretary, a rare combination of ambition wrapped in competence, is interviewed.
Saving a life and keeping alive are very different things. And for a while, that distinction was lost, very much to the detriment of those for whom the distinction is or was important.
What do you say to the hundreds of thousands of people in this country who don't agree with the Ascendancy Program?
The staff room door swings open. A huge doctor, more meathead than medic, barrels in. Bennett, 30s.
Save me from the fucking imbeciles we call the general public.
Clocks Ash, then her knuckles.
Tell me you punched someone. I should have. They've had a cull. I'm gone. Oh, fuck. What are you going to do?
I'm very conscious that this is a morally difficult. Sorry about that. I'll start again. I'm very conscious that this is a morally difficult issue. I will continue to listen to all the voices in the debate, but...
The TV's loud. It irritates Ash. She moves to find the remote. Bennett looks at the screen.
Ah, she's a cunt as well. I like her. Of course you do.
He mimes cunnilingus. Ash finds the remote.
Inappropriate, Bennett.
Even the ones who are inciting violence, the demonstrators, those campaigning for your removal as health secretary?
Ash turns the TV off.
Seriously, though. I don't know.
The door opens. Turley comes in, looks between Ash and Bennett, hands a printed job advert to Ash. She looks at the header. Ascendancy Centre. Doctors needed.
9 to 5, very good pay, might be worth looking at.
He eyes Ash's packed bag.
And it's okay for you to leave early today.
Ash glares at him. He slinks out. She slings the ad into her bag.
Rick.
Bennett looks at her inquiringly.
You too.
He grins, opens his arms. They hug.
If there's anything I can do, careful. I'll hold you to it.
She strides out, pretending she's got this under control. 11, exterior, a leafy London park day. Kids laughing. Halcyon blue skies and lush grass, a picnic rug. Ash plays tag with her daughter, Orla, 6. Ash's wife, Jade, 30s, watches from the picnic rug, smiling. She says spiky presence, but not without warmth. She supervises their other child, Dante, 3, who plays quietly. Orla dives onto the picnic rug and rolls behind Jade.
Hey, that's cheating.
Ash swoops in, catching Jade in the crossfire. She moves in for the kiss. Jade bats her off before she gets a chance, laughing and pointing behind her.
Dad's coming.
Grandad!
Grandad!
Orla grabs Dante's hand and they head towards the lean, sprightly figure in the distance, Reg, 70s, trailed by his carer, Lorna, 20s. Jade gestures towards her.
Pay Lorna.
Just the one gold bar this month.
Jade catches her hand. Ash's knuckles are scabbed over now.
I wish I could pay.
She doesn't see the flicker of worry on Ash's face.
We're a team. You look after the kids.
Ash stands up.
Come on, let's go listen to your dad's budgie story for the 67th time this week.
Jade swipes her playfully, then follows her.
Interesting. I think that sailed along quite nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did make some notes. Shall I just do the format things and leave the rest to you guys?
Yeah.
You don't need to underline scene headings. And I wouldn't put all of that stuff in bold. There's a couple of things in bold. The BAMs don't need to be bold, just caps as part of the action. Also, there's on page 2, there's some lines where she knows the decision is a death sentence for one of them, and then do not attempt resuscitation. I can get it, the do not attempt resuscitation, because that is the large lettering. I need to know though whether that is an angle on or a her point of view. Are we reading that? Are we going to read those words? So that just needs a bit of delineation in the script. But the one, she knows the decision is a death sentence for one of them, that's just punching it home. You don't need it in caps. Page 7, there was a note there that I made about she slams a fist into the wall. You've got caps in some places that don't need caps, and I would have put a slams into the wall. I would have put slams in as a noise, in caps, because that's right. It's going to make a noise. And there was another place as well where I picked up that I think something was ringing, and I thought that should be in caps as well. These might just be things that you've missed, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. The bit where you go to the television, where you click over to the television is on, I think we need clarity about if we are going to be seeing that on the television. That's almost like, I don't know, do we need another scene there or not? Probably not. But also what I really need to know is where you get Henshaw and the interviewer, is that off screen? Are we hearing that, or are we still watching the screen when we I think that's just slightly confusing to know what are we seeing at that point. Because if, for instance, on page 7, where you go into Henshaw saving a life and keeping alive are two very, I would have thought that's possibly Henshaw OS should really be, unless do you see what I mean? It's a sort of glimpse. Yeah. It's difficult. It's a difficult one though. And if you do it like that, then it shouldn't be in italics, because the italics denote what? In script terms, they don't denote anything. So you really need some clarity with that. But that's it. I'm just going to keep to formatting stuff and leave you guys. Erin, what's your thought?
Well, I was curious as to whether or not it's supposed to take, I know it says 5 years in the 5 years, but does it take place now? Is it present day, or is it like
the start says the present, I think, and then it's 5 years into the future from now.
Okay, I was trying to find if I thought I missed that. Because it just seems like it's almost goes 5 years. It feels almost like it's supposed to be not dystopian, but it's supposed to be like something shifted in the 5 years that made everybody everything now there's no need for like, there's not this emergency. And I liked the difference between the urgency in the first part and then how it kind of is more like she's walking through the halls or whatever. But she still feels just as stressed out, which was really, really fascinating to me. And I don't know, I thought it was really interesting. Like, I'm really curious to see where it's going. I thought the character, there was, a lot going on, but I thought that, it seemed like everybody had a purpose. And in like a medical drama, there are a lot of people that come in and out really quickly, that maybe I don't know, if you might not see them again, or, yeah, and I liked how when we got to the last page, it showed her personal life too, because I thought that sounds like it's important too. It shows it's like her driving force of why she has this something that matters, that what is really driving her to put herself through all of, obviously, this and this stress, I suppose. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it was good. I like to see what happens.
I liked it very much. I think it paints a really grim picture to start off with. But I'm reminded of like Logan's Run and Westworld, the sort of latter seasons. This sort of, and I wonder whether 5 years in the future is enough of a jump, and whether the grim version that we see should not be a bit in the future. Because it seems like obviously the euthanasia kind of thing that's been brought in has eased the health system, but I think that yes, 5 years is a big jump for society to make that choice of, oh yes, once I get to such age, I think I'll just toddle off this mortal coil.
It seems like
a bit of room to other
seems
people.
like it's sort of optional at the moment, doesn't it? And it sounds like there's a lot of insurgents against it. But it's funny. Something big would really have to have happened, wouldn't it?
I think we've a great setup there towards the end of final page of kind of dad's for it. The moral question is going to come up, and if she is working there, there's the moral dilemma of course it's going to be her shift, isn't it?
When her father-in-law.
I like it. I love sci-fi. Make it a bit more sci-fi, please.
I really like it as well, actually. I think it's got a lot of verve, a lot of confidence, and a lot of pace to start with. And I really enjoyed that about it. And the characters do seem to be distinct, which is lovely. And my things are only quite small, actually. Would a nurse call her Ash and a junior doctor call her Dr. Prosser, for example? It seems slightly the wrong way around. I thought in scene 7, page 7, when Turley says, "Don't," she punches the wall, punch the wall. So it's almost like you feel like you need to have something like, has she got a form in wall punching? Is there already a dent there? She's so cross. And it just seems a bit sort of like, just maybe punch the wall isn't even needed. It's just don't, she does it. It's just like him kind of dismayed that she's always doing stuff because she's hot-headed or whatever. I did wonder about whether, I thought that, Angela, you had said a thing before, and I might have got this mixed up because formatting isn't my forte at all, but that we didn't have scene numbers until something had been optioned. Is that right?
Well, it's a debatable thing. Some people like to have the scene numbers in because it helps them. In actual fact, the general rule of thumb is you don't include scene numbers in your very early drafts until it's actually in pre-production, until you've assigned sort of somebody said, yes, I'm going to make this, and then you start creating sort of then you need to start working out which scenes you're going to do all together, and and so then you need scene numbers. I mean, it's kind of debatable. No, you don't need them. I mean, I would never put them in a first draft. A first draft really shouldn't ever have them in.
This seems
But I have
drafted,
had
though,
this
doesn't it? I
conversation.
think.
Excuse me, I'm going to have to turn and have a good cough. Carry on.
Yeah, all right. No, I just think this seems like it's gone through more than one draft, is
Yeah.
the feeling I've got
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
But I was just about the wall punch, I just think it's nice to have some humour, because you know, it could be really relentless, which could be brilliant. But I think also just to sort of spike that through with some wit would be lovely. It doesn't have to take the tension down, but just give some texture. On the bottom of page 8, I was just slightly confused. We've had that meathead medic, what was he called? Bennett. And I think Turley's come on, or there's been something with the television, and he says seriously, though, to her, or she says that to him, and I just didn't quite know what that was referring to. So perhaps we just need to kind of tie that up with what that was. And also just a tiny thing. I mean, I think I've got it. We had the present day and how things are absolutely overstretched and mad, and, you know, as we all know. And then in 5 years' time, we get this weirdly serene place, and it's Turley's hospital. And we see an advert for the Ascendancy program, but presumably the sort of euthanasia doesn't happen there. So I suppose that's like Dignitas or something.
Well, that's something
that's where she's going to go on to. But I just think it was slightly made unclear, because we see the advert for it, whether, you know, it's happening there or not. So I don't know.
I think it's setting it up as an information bomb for the audience to
but I just think maybe
get ready,
something
this is coming. So
because when I first read, I thought she's already in a place to do with this. Why is she going to another place to do with it? But I suppose in the third place that she's possibly working in, it's where the actual killing happens, isn't it? I guess. So, but I just wasn't quite clear on first read. So
is it going to have that music from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest when it's pill time?
What was that music?
I can't remember it, but it's that classic kind of, it's pill time, everyone.
Nurse Ratched. Yeah. No, I did like it. I thought I thought it was really I want to know what happens next. And I like that sort of near future thing. It's really interesting. But it'd be nice to sort of see, you know, the texture contrasted with sort of gentler, more lyrical bits and stuff like that. So
more please,
yes.
Can I snowball off of something Emma just said, actually, too, because it was something I was also thinking about. So when there's like the TVs in the background, and, you know, like when you watch YouTube, there's ads, and if it's 5 years in the future, you could play around really with what TV could be too, because I thought like an actual advertisement advertising this physically, we could physically see on the TV, I don't know if this is just supposed to be like a little like tiny setup, or if kind of like, you know, like almost like an infomercial for like
it could be hologram telly.
There's, you know, but usually things are like maybe not news so much, but things are interrupted a lot by like you're watching something and then all of a sudden it's like you're in the middle of like something and then this ad just comes up. So I mean, maybe something, I don't know, because technology's constantly, you know, so if it's 5 years in the future, I don't know. Anyways.
In America, you're bothered by adverts far more than we are over here.
Oh, okay.
Far more.
YouTube does have loads, though, doesn't
YouTube
it?
is getting bad now.
It's always health span as well. I don't know why.
Health span.
Perhaps they think we're old and ill.
To reiterate what Rory was saying, yes, I get a lot of feeling, like you say, Logan's Run and that kind of ilk. And also bearing in mind that as figures are currently, they reckon in between 10 and 15 years, the population of the Earth will have increased by approximately 30%, possibly even as much as 50%. So are we going to, with this Ascendancy program, is there a touch of Soylent Green going on there?
Just eat each other,
Soylent Green is people.
Oh! It's a brilliant film, that is.
That's what we haven't watched for a bit.
Okay.
But I definitely got that. And I think, like you say, 5 years is too soon to have such a dramatic jump. 10 years, possibly, yes. 15, maybe even better. But 5 years seems a bit too soon. But yes, I love the premises. I really want to know where this is going.
Yeah, and don't get pulled into the mistake of them saying, let's do another series.
Yeah.
Like they did with Westworld. They should have stopped, and they just kept going, and it kind of petered out. That
Second series,
commit,
yes. Third and fourth series, forget them.
Commit to your beginning, middle, and end story.
Yes.
I think it is interesting though, isn't it? Because you look at you say 5 years is too short a time, but I bet if you'd asked people in America in 2013 if they were going to have Mr. Trump as their president, they'd have said no. And if you'd asked us if there was going to be such a thing called Brexit that had happened, we'd have said that's ridiculous. No, that's just mental. And and now look at these things that happen. So you just never know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
everything can change.
Can't it? And suddenly, sometimes just depends what the impetus is, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah. Okay. All good. Thank you, guys.
That's all right.